Hi guys, Steph here. Right, what have we got for you today? Well, I'll tell you exactly what we've got for you today. A pen from my recent pen haul. I've just recently finished it, so I thought I'd do a review on it. Now, for you people that watch my videos on a regular basis, will look at this pen and say, Steph, you've actually done a video on this pen before. Yes, I may have had. Now, what I'll do, at the end of the video, I'll leave you a link for the other pen that looks, well, that looks exactly the same as this one, basically. What we have here is a Swan Leverless pen. Now, again, for you people that know the Swan models, etc., you will look at this pen and say, ah, yes, Steph, what you've got there is a Swan calligraph fountain pen. Yes, maybe. I'm not too sure. Yes, it looks identical to the Swan Leverless calligraph fountain pen that you'll see at the end of the video, but there's a couple of things that don't quite run true. So, well, let's have a look at the pen. As you can see, it's in this sort of torpedo or cigar shape, a lovely chunky pen. The size of the pen from the top of the cap to the bottom of the barrel, around about 129 millimeters capped. Around the barrel, it's a nice chunky, well, around about 12.5 millimeters in diameter. The pen comes with gold fill trim, so if we take you to the bottom of the cap there, you can see it's got these 3 cap bands at the bottom of the cap, sorry. It's a slightly thicker one in the middle and 2 narrow ones at each side. And then if we take you to the clip there, you can see slightly unusual clip. It's still a very recognizable Swan clip by the fact at the top of the clip there you can see the Swan logo, but the difference being this is where I believe it may be the calligraph fountain pen, because this is the nib that specific pen actually had. Now if we take you to the top there, you can see it's got this sort of gold filled cap stud to the very top of the cap. Now if we take you to the bottom of the barrel, let's keep it nice and still, you'll see it's got this knurled sort of knob at the end of the barrel there, which we'll show you in a moment. Let's take you to the barrel imprint, and what you can see, it reads Swan Leverless pen, and then to the left it's got Mabie, Todd and Company, to the right Made in England, and I think at the bottom it's got patent applied for or whatever. But as you can see, a lovely clear imprint with the Swan logo in the middle. So again, looks very similar to the calligraph fountain pen. But as I say, a couple of things don't quite run or don't ring true for me. One of the things is, we're just showing you the imprint on the barrel there. The calligraph, sorry, I can't even say it, calligraph pen normally has the word calligraph on the barrel as an imprint, and as you can see on this one, if we twirl it around, there's no sign of the imprint and the word calligraph. So again, is it or isn't it? Now, as I said earlier, this is a leverless pen, and what happens is we simply, to fill the pen, we unscrew this knurled knob as far as it'll go. A little bit on the stiff side, but there we go. And again, if you see there, you can see it's fully unscrewed. You can see the thread is an aluminium thread inside there. So let's screw it all the way back home again. And for you people that look at this, they'll say, yes, this is the twist filling system. Now again, the video that I'll leave you a link goes into more details about this pen, but no, this pen actually takes what we term as a pressure bar. Now Unfortunately, there was no bar in it when I actually opened the pen up. So what I actually had to do is get a new pressure bar. Now, unfortunately, these bars just simply come in a standard size. So what I actually needed to do, I actually cut some of the end off and ground it down, cut some of this end off and ground it down slightly. And what I also did is, you can see they have these little crimps on the bar there. I had to open the crimps up and adjust the bar, this particular bar here, and move it so that it fits in this particular pen. So unfortunately, I had to play about with a pressure bar inside and literally cut one and grind one to make it fit inside the pen, and hopefully, as you'll see in a moment, it works perfectly. So once again, is it or isn't it a calligraph pen? Now, if we unscrew the cap for you, let's give you some twirls of the pen at different angles, in beautiful condition. The whole pen has been disassembled. As I said, we've put a new bar inside, new sack in it, we've cleaned all the feed, the nib. Basically, we've cleaned everything, given it a polish, and it looks absolutely superb. If we show you the section there, a very standard typical Swan section. If we turn it round, I think it's underneath somewhere. There you go. You can see it's actually got Swan on the section itself, and as I'm actually showing it you there, you can see the, again, very recognizable Swan feed underneath, and also on the feed we've got the word Swan written on the feed. There you have it again. Now let's show you the nib. Now, another reason why it doesn't quite ring true is that the calligraph pens normally had a number 2 nib with a letter C on the nib. Now, if I show you this one, keep it nice and still for you, what you'll see there, it's got a lovely large Mabie, Todd and Company Limited Eternal number 4 nib. Let's give you a different angle. So another reason why it doesn't ring true, whether it's a calligraph or not, is this particular nib. I've not changed it. Whether it's actually been changed in the past for some reason, I do not know. But as you can see, you've got a lovely large Eternal number 4 nib on this pen. So again, whether it was actually a factory fitted nib, I do not know. Maybe at the time it came out of the factory, they maybe sort of sent it out of the factory like this. Again, I've not changed it, I've not replaced the nib. This is how the pen came to me. If it was changed at sometime in the past, then fine. But this is how I found it, with this lovely, and again, very much sought after in their own rights, these eternal nibs. And as you can see, a lovely size. They are very, well, they're not very big, but they're larger than normal. They are quite a large nib. The pen, as I said, is it's a lovely size, nice and chunky, lovely to hold, very comfortable. As I say, it's not a small pen, it's not the largest of pens, but a lovely chunky pen to hold and to use. So I know I can hear you already, so let's see the pen actually writing. Now, before I do that, let me get some tissue. There we go. And to fill the pen, what we do, we simply, as I showed you earlier, we untwist this knob here, which in turn pushes out, if you like, a little sort of, it prods out inside, and that in turn pushes on the bar, and in effect what it does, there we go, in effect what it does, as it pushes against the sack. So that's how it works. Because some people will look at this knurl knob and say, oh yes, it's the twist filler. As I say, if you look at the video at the end, I give you a little bit more details of the pen, so if you're interested in it, go and have a look at that. So let's put the the nib in the ink. It's a little bit on the stiff side. There we go. Okay, we can see some bubbling going on. We don't need too much, so I think that'll be fine. Let's screw it back in again. Give it a hippy shake, and let's give it a wipe. So let's pop the ink to one side. Let's bring on some paper. As always, I only finished this pen last night, so you're seeing it being tested. So let's keep our fingers crossed. So what we have is an absolutely gorgeous Swan Leverless fountain pen. This pen I'm dating to the 1940s. As we said, it's made by Mabie, Todd and Company Limited. Whether it's a calligraph fountain pen, I do not know. I'm not too sure. Maybe it was a pen that sort of sneaked through the production line, but in all intents and purposes, I'm simply going to call this model the Swan Leverless pen. Incidentally, in a lot of cases the Swan pens have a model number at the end of the barrel. There's no model number as well, so we can't identify it by that. Now, as I said, writing very nicely. As you can see, it's writing, I would say, with a fine line. Now this nib, the Eternal number 4, is quite a stiff nib. Now, if I apply a bit of pressure, I'm not getting, well, maybe very slightly, but nothing to sort of write home about, excuse the pun. But I would say, nice and simply, the pen is writing quite a stiff nib, but writing with a fine line. So I'm sure there'll be somebody out there that likes these fine line writing nibs that will thoroughly enjoy this pen, because what we'll do, we're going to try and find a new home for it. But as I say, no variation in line, quite a hard nib, but as you can see, writing very nicely with a fine line. So let's pop that to one side. Let's get the cap and put the cap back on, and there we have it. I'm going to call this the Swan Leverless fountain pen. Whether it's a calligraph model or not, I'm not too sure. There's no indication. The nib is slightly different. Whether it came out of the factory like this, I do not know. But all in all, an absolutely stunning fountain pen in beautiful condition, and as you can see now, in full working order. I hope you've enjoyed looking at this pen as much as I enjoy showing them to you people out there. And again, as always, some of you people are quite shy. Don't be shy. Leave a comment below. Have you subscribed? Why not subscribe as well? But for now, I'm just going to say bye bye for now. And again, if you're interested in the calligraph fountain pen that I mentioned, there's a link here. There's a little bit more detail there about the calligraph, Swan calligraph pen. But again, I just thought I'd show you this one because something is not quite right. But for now, I'm just going to say bye bye for now.